Many of us have probably had the experience or witnessed a list of names being read honoring those who have died. That one name is really just radiating out just like a light. And we need to remember that behind that name are all of the individuals that they are attached with. To me, the essence
Now I can go into the city, cause I just keep thinking of you. Like every time I order whiskey, I don't wanna ask if you miss me. I'm telling myself that you do. Yeah, every time I order whiskey. Sunset, sundress, still on my mind. Tipsy, it hits me, you left me with wine. Moonlight, goodbyes, fighting for time. I miss the midsummer nights with you. I miss the midsummer nights with you. Middle of October, I can't break through. You're in Barcelona with someone new. Hurts me when I'm sober, tell the truth. Now I can go into the city, cause I just keep thinking of you. Like every time I order whiskey, I don't wanna ask if you miss me. I'm telling myself that you do. Yeah, every time I order whiskey. Sunset, sundress, still on my mind. Tipsy, it hits me, you left me with wine. Moonlight, goodbyes, fighting for time. I miss the midsummer nights with you. I miss the midsummer nights with you.
Good morning. My name's Jeff Curtis. And I'm going to be your entertainment this morning. Let's get this party started.
Testing. Testing. Right here. Hello, everybody. Yes, that feels good. That feels comfortable. Okay. Yeah, that feels good.
Check, check. Great. Good morning.
Lisa, do you want to mic check real quick? Louder. Okay. You want me to do it again?
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I think I'm all right.
Do it again. Do it again. Wow, I can stand all the way back here. I'm a little taller than Tara. Oh, well, little pump. Little pumps. Add a couple inches. Can you hear me fine? Oh, thanks.
There you go. All right.
All right.
burning the house down, burning the house burning the house down, burning the house down. I try, you'll never know that's what I needed to know.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jeff Curtis. On behalf of everyone at Brooks Place, please accept my sincere gratitude for you being here in person this morning. It's been a long time coming, but it's really awesome to see all you folks show up on a chilly November morning. So great to have you here. As you make your way to your tables, we invite you to share with each other what or who may have inspired you to be here this morning. And also, you may have noticed on your table, you've got some crayons and some You Are Loved coloring sheets. We would encourage you throughout the morning, if you're inclined, to color on your sheets as our Brooks Place kiddos would during their support group and individual therapy sessions. So you can kind of play along at home as our Brooks Place kiddos do when we're serving them. So enjoy your breakfast, enjoy your coffee, enjoy your conversation, and I'll be back up here at 8 o'clock to kick off the official program. So thanks again for being here.
Many of us have probably had the experience or witnessed a list of names being read honoring those who have died. That one name is really just radiating out, just like a light. And we need to remember that behind that name are all of the individuals that they are attached with. To me, the essence of Brooks Place is I picture it as a soft place to land. One of our mantras, so to speak, at Brooks Place is "You are loved," and that's Brooks Place. It's a loving, nurturing, safe place to land, and it's a place where you can really feel empowered to grieve and be exactly who you are. And that is so magical to create healing for them across their lifespan.
Brooks Place provides services to roughly 1,500 children and families each year. That number is growing through not only our ongoing peer-based support groups, but also therapy services and BP8 and the expansion of those programs as well. But we know that there are roughly 73,000 children who at some point will need our services, and that's a big gap. When we have a wait list, it means that there are families that have found out about Brooks Place and want to come to our programs and services, but we don't have the room for them right now.
When I see children, not only are they grieving the loss of the death of their loved one, but they're grieving the changes that are happening within their household.
We know that unresolved childhood grief can lead to a host of challenges for them that can be lifelong. It could be poor academic performance. It can be substance abuse. It can be illegal activity up to and including incarceration.
As I told the police chief, they can grieve in healthy ways and not seek revenge and be the individual that now picks up a gun, now becomes a person who commits another homicide, now becomes the individual that traumatizes individuals in the community once again. So Brooks Place provides a safe space to talk about your loved one and develop healthy ways of grieving.
We believe that it's extremely important that places like Brooks Place are with them throughout their grief journey to provide that support.
Brooks Place could have had a huge impact on my life. One of the reasons that Brooks Place is so special and important to me is that my family experienced childhood grief. My mother died when I was born. And I have two older sisters who were 9 and 7 when she died. And I saw firsthand my whole life what not being able to express yourself does. And because our father was going through so much turmoil himself, having 3 little girls, and not knowing what to do within his own grief, he kind of isolated himself. And so they never knew that it was okay to speak her name. And that's a beautiful thing about Brooks Place, is that children can speak the name of their loved one and say it out loud and create memories and continue that relationship. Just because someone died doesn't mean you can't continue that relationship. And so it became a passion for me to be able to open that up for other children.
It's time to reach out to the community and take the program to individuals in the community. The reason that it is so necessary to bring grief support and therapy services to individuals in the community, because we have so many children in families that are impacted, such as the African American, Latino, impoverished, immigrant communities are not only impacted by one death, but quite often it's several losses. So this was an opportunity to move Brooks Place in the community, to offer grief support groups and therapy.
So it's so important, I think, to give, whether that be your time or in generosity, to Brooks Place, so that we can continue to fulfill that mission of helping individuals to really thrive. What better way to do that than to support a place whose mission it is to help people thrive?
What Brooks Place does is provide, like I said, healthy ways of grieving where a person can build the new life with the loss.
Imagine that you're a parent and your young children lose you unexpectedly through an illness in whatever way that you are gone. You would want whatever resources were available, whatever the cost was, so that a place like Brooks Place is available to provide your children with critical assistance at a time when they need it most. And to see it firsthand, to see the impact that we are making on these children's lives, it's life-changing. The Brooks Place kids didn't deserve for their loved ones to die, for them to experience this loss, but they deserve our support. They deserve everything that we can provide for them to help make their future a bright and promising one.
This place is magical. I mean, these kids have been through the worst experience of their lives. And when they're at this place, they learn they're not alone. It's palpable. I mean, you walk out here and you can feel it. And there's love, and there is connection, and there's hope. And that's big. It's a big deal.
Good morning again. Thank you. And welcome to the 9th annual Brooks Place Legacy of Hope Breakfast. My name is Jeff Curtis, and I am the chair of the Brooks Place board and also the board's official crier. So if I break down tonight or this morning here, that's kind of my job. Thanks all of you for being here again. And if you're in the room, please know that we're also live streaming this event to many of our Brooks Place families and friends that weren't able to physically join us here today. And that just shows one of the ways over the past couple of years that we have kind of modified what we do to better meet our Brooks Place friends and families where they are. And if you are joining us remotely, it's now time to open your purple envelope if you haven't done that already. One of the things you'll find in your envelope this morning is a You Are Loved coloring sheet. And some of us in the ballroom this morning have been coloring as we've been eating and visiting with others at our tables. And I'll show you my masterpiece. So anyway, I would encourage you, wherever you are, to color as you listen and watch the program this morning. Today, we're a week away from Thanksgiving. More significantly, today is National Childhood Grief Awareness Day. And we at Brooks Place are well aware of how the holiday season can be extremely difficult and lonely for grieving individuals, particularly grieving children. So we're extremely thankful to have this National Day of Recognition to shine some light on the impact that childhood grief has in our communities. I'd like to take a moment to recognize our champion sponsors, and if you could show your appreciation for them with me, I'd appreciate that. The Willard and Ann Levin Foundation and Vallejo Financial Advisors. Thank you both for your longtime support and continued support. We couldn't do what we do for our families without you. I'd like to also recognize our other sponsors who are listed on the back of your programs. And if you're remote, then you'll find your program within your purple envelope. That'll be a recurring theme. Yeah, we couldn't do what we do without each of you, and we certainly appreciate your generosity. We really appreciate you supporting our Brooks Place mission and making this wonderful event a reality. You'll find on your tables a pledge card. And again, if you're remote, you've guessed it, your pledge card will be found in your purple envelope. Please set those aside for now. We'll get back to those later in the morning. But if you do have to leave this morning, I would ask you to take a minute to support our precious families and complete your pledge card and place it in the white envelope on your table before you leave. We would obviously certainly appreciate that as well. And then please know that regardless of whether or not you've colored your sheet this morning, this is where I ad-libbed and I thought I'd probably cry, but Regardless of whether or not you covered your sheet, know that we at Brooks Place appreciate and love you all being here this morning. And by you being here, whether you're here in person or remotely, our families and kiddos that we serve feel loved, and they know they matter, as do all of you. And now for the best part of my morning, I get to introduce the next speaker. I'd like to introduce another board member and a longtime support group facilitator. Please welcome Lisa Pryor.
I gotta follow that. Thank you, Jeff. You just kind of encompass like the work that we do here. And I appreciate your willingness to be vulnerable and show us through your actions and your way of being what Brooks Place really means to the families and the people who give back every day. So thank you so much for that and for your leadership. Hello, my name is Lisa Pryor. I have been a facilitator with Brooks Place for 17 years, and I was just recently added to the board, which is also so much fun, and I'm so thankful for that. I want to take a second to kind of show you something that we do at Brooks Place. We have a check-in usually, and so it kind of goes a little like this. Hi, my name is Lisa. I'm with the team group, and I want to light a candle for my really good friend Kate's father. Michael Turner passed away last week after a long battle with pancreatic cancer. And so I'm going to light a candle for Michael and for Kate and for their family, because I'm really thinking about them and what they mean to me. So we do that anytime we want to do that, and we open that up to the kids. And so it's just a really special thing. So I wanted to do that today. I hope you enjoyed your breakfast. I hope you enjoyed your conversations and learning more about the people who you are seated with and what or who brought them to be with us this morning. For me, it's our kiddos that inspire me to keep showing up. Over the years, they have given me as much, if not more, than I have given them. And personally, I'm so thankful for Brooks Place and the role that it's played in my life thus far. I had two pretty significant losses when I was little, one at 3 and one at 7 years old. And then others during my time as a facilitator here at Brooks Place. And I sometimes wonder what my life could have been like if I too had a place to talk about the grief that I was experiencing as a young child. And the reason for that is because I know the significant impact that it's made on my life being able to talk about that grief now as an adult. Brooks Place has been open since April 15th, 1999, and it's spent the last 22 years walking alongside grieving families and educating the community on childhood grief. Collectively, we have all experienced some form of grief in the past year due to the impact of COVID-19. As a society, the pandemic has brought to the forefront the reality of grief and loss. We know that more than 37,000 children had primary and secondary caregivers die due to COVID in the last 15 months. And more than 6,000 children are grieving the death of a loved one from issues related to COVID, including overdoses and death by suicide. We know that for every COVID-related death, 9 individuals are bereaved. Childhood grief is a pervasive problem that is too frequently overlooked. Due to the continuing COVID-19 crisis, there remain great concerns about the mental health challenges that communities are experiencing beyond the economic and physical health crisis. Because of the pandemic, emergency room visits due to mental health issues are up 25%. The loneliness and isolation felt during grief has been aggravated by the forced isolation associated with the COVID-19 pandemic. With so much continuing to change, one element holds true at Brooks Place. Nothing is more important than the children and families who entrust Brooks Place to help them in their grief journey. Now, I want to acknowledge that what I've just said is pretty heavy. But as my job as a facilitator, I have to be able to sit with the heavy. But it's also my job to sit with the fun and the joy, because grief and joy can exist at the same time. And both do at Brooks Place. In our group, it looks a lot like sharing a favorite memory of our loved one and the entire group busting out in resounding laughter. Or it looks like our teens being on the fence about whether or not they want to come to Brooks Place at all, and they end their first night asking when they can come back. So it's in 2 weeks? 2 weeks? Oh, okay. Well, I'll see you then. It's a space that we are able to hold for each other and all that we are dealing with, the good, the bad, in between. It's the understanding that no matter how you show up, we are glad to be with you because your being with us is enough. It's about safety, it's about understanding, it's about compassion, and as I heard someone in the video mention, it's about love. Today, on National Children's Grief Awareness Day, we will hear just a few of the thousands of stories that make Brooks Place so special and necessary in addressing childhood grief. By being here today, you are all about to become part of our story, and we promise you won't regret it. Now, I could tell you a lot more about Brooks Place and the space that we hold for grieving families, but no one tells it quite like our kids. So please enjoy this video.
My name's Nathan, I'm 16. I've been going to Brooks Place for 10 years.
My name's Abigail, I'm 7.
My name is Jesse, I am 11 years old.
My name is Harper and I am 7. My name's Prince.
I am 11, my name is Charles. I have been coming here since the beginning of September 2021. My loved one that died is my grandma named Julie.
Both of my grandparents and my dad passed away.
My brother.
My loved one who died was my grandpa.
My loved one who died was my dad. My dad.
My favorite part about coming to Brooks Place is the people, being able to talk to people who've gone through the same thing as me and understand, and building relationships.
It helps people with the people that died.
Brooks Place has helped of me and my grandpa, just me crying a lot.
Having fun activities that would help me experience grief in a good way, or how to get past grief in a good way.
My favorite part is trick-or-treating. I like to play with my new friends.
My name is Stephanie. I'm 17 years old, and my mom passed away from breast cancer 8 years ago.
My name is Olivia. I am 10 years old, and my twin sister Aubrey died.
My name's Reagan, and I'm 7 years old.
My name is Elidor, and my age is 11, and my loved one who died is my father, my aunt, and my grandmother.
My name is Kennedy. I am 17 years old, and my dad passed away 5.5 years ago.
My name is Kai. I'm 12, and my dad died.
My name is Madison, and I'm 8.
My name is Dylan. My age is 16. My loved one who died was my father.
My mom. My dad, he passed away from a car accident. Brooks Place, it gets all of your emotions out because you get to tell all of it to other people and you get to make new friends.
You don't have to answer. I think that's like the choice is like the best part.
It's really helpful because I know I'm not the only one who's going through something.
Grieving as a teen is really hard. Takes a while. You never really get over it, but got to make new friends to be able to talk to them about it, how they learn to grieve with it.
It's like nice to connect and bond over like how we cope.
I've met a bunch of new friends. They've all been very nice, and there's so many fun activities to do over here, and it's amazing.
We get to talk to friends, we get to color, get to play games.
To draw and get to see doggies.
I just love the dogs. They're so nice.
I was coming to Brooks Place because we did a scavenger hunt.
It's awesome. It's so fun. You get to do so much stuff.
Well, I remember the horseback riding. There's a lot of different people that I got to talk to. I really enjoyed like riding the animals and getting to discuss that. And for the fishing outing, that was actually with my grandpa who was living at the time. The coach is what we call him. And I think about that all the time.
I used to go to Brooks Place with my family 7 years ago for like a year, and then I stopped going because I felt better. But as I've like grown older and just been going through things, I've realized that I still miss my mom. So I told my dad that I'd like to come back because I think that it would help me before I go to college.
I mean, this is kind of simple, but Brooks Place helps people.
I would describe Brooks Place as is really good because I learned a lot of things.
It's just a great place to express your feelings or like just hang out and talk, and it's just a great place to do those kind of things.
I would say Brooks Place is amazing.
Thanks, Brooks Place, for making my way of experiencing grief the best way.
Good morning again. My name is Teresa Brunn, and it is truly my honor and privilege to serve as the executive director for Brooks Place. In the video that you just watched, one of our teens, Nathan, just said so succinctly and yet so powerfully, it's kind of simple, but Brooks Place helps people. It's the power of many, whether you're a donor, a volunteer, a staff person, or a community partner who help to impact the lives in each and every one of our Brooks Place kids. Kids like Madison and Prince and Kai, and the over 3,000 children, teens, and young adults that we will serve this year. So far in 2021, even in the midst of COVID and the pandemic, Brooks Place has served 732 children's, teens, and young adults in our ongoing support group program. Our outreach program, which takes Brooks Place on the road to where kids are, both emotionally and physically, we have completed 109 BP8 sessions so far this year, serving 99 children and teens in 12 different community partner locations. Our Camp Healing Tree program this year had to be modified because of COVID, so we weren't able to do the overnight component, but we were able to have a day program both on a Saturday and Sunday, serving 47 children, including the adults. On Sunday, we had 77 adults, reaching 32 families in that program. And our therapy services program has so far served this year 309 individuals, averaging 160 completed therapy sessions each month with licensed mental health counselors. The need for these services is greater than ever before, with increased intakes and calls for services from families every week, and a current waiting list of over 60 grieving children and their families in our therapy services program alone. 60 grieving children on our wait list. To us, that's a priority. At Brooks Place, we believe that if you're old enough to love, you're old enough to grieve. Learning to navigate grief and rekindle hope can be a painful thing. But as Lisa said, at the same time, it can be a joyful thing. Learning to navigate life and grief in the midst of a pandemic takes on a whole new challenge. I'm really proud of the way that our Brooks Place team of staff, therapists, contractors, and volunteers found new and creative ways to safely serve our grieving families during this challenging time. The can-do spirit on display at Brooks Place over the last 18 months has been absolutely inspiring to witness and be a part of. And as one of our Brooks Place moms said, Brooks Place continued to play a supportive role in our lives in spite of, well, everything. So please allow me to recognize the Brooks Place staff members, therapists, individual contractors, and board members that are here with us today by asking them to stand and be recognized. Thank you all for the amazing work that you do every day. Please also allow me to recognize the volunteers with Brooks Place. If you're a facilitator, a Camp Paling Tree volunteer, in whatever way you volunteer for Brooks Place, if you will please stand and let us recognize you. Volunteers are a big part of Brooks Place. And to tell you more about volunteer opportunities at Brooks Place, we want to show you a video of Katie and Val Haggerty, who they don't even know is being shown this morning, who are very special not volunteers, not only because of how long they've been volunteering, but also because of the talents that they bring to the program.
Hi, my name is Valerie Haggerty, and I'm a volunteer from Brooks Place. I volunteer in different roles at Brooks Place. One role is for Camp Paling Tree, and then as well as a facilitator for group nights where I facilitate a group for 6 to 9-year-olds.
And I'm Katie Haggerty. I volunteer for Brooks Place as well in a variety of roles. I have been a part of Camp Paling Tree, one of their programs, for 17 years, as well as a facilitator with teens for a while. So a facilitator, what we just said, a facilitator is somebody who basically creates the safe space for whatever group that they're facilitating, whether it be the 3 to 5-year-olds or the adult groups. We just create that space that allows them to explore their grief in whatever way is helpful, which sounds kind of sad, but it's generally not. It's generally a lot of playing, a lot of goofing off, and a lot of just having fun, trying to figure out where they are in their life. You don't have to have any formal training in terms of a career for that. I am a teacher
and I'm a nurse.
And we got great training from Brooks Place to help us be adaptable in that situation and to understand what our kids need when they need it.
There's also buddies that are on program nights. What our buddies do is they kind of help support our facilitators in getting the groups ready, getting the rooms ready, kind of setting out at the end of the night, picking everything up, setting out the pizza, which again makes them the favorite probably of the thing. They give us cakes and cupcakes and drinks. So they get all of our kids jazzed up and excited and fed with happy bellies to go into group time.
We also have Camp Paling Tree. It's a great program as well. It's a little bit less time commitment. It's a weekend in August where we will create that environment over the course of the entire weekend.
We also have other opportunities for volunteering. We have opportunities for corporations to come and help. For instance, one corporation came and helped set up a volcano room for our group kids. We also have opportunities in the office where you can help with mailings and other kind of tasks that just need a lot of help that necessarily our staff can't get to. So there's plenty of opportunities at Brooks Place to come and volunteer for.
You may not know exactly what is right for you or what fit is for you, but we have plenty of opportunities for you to kind of get to know that and to talk to plenty of people to help find that niche for you. We just need people that have open hearts, that want to be there to help kids and help people get through a really tough time.
We're going to have several volunteer open houses where you can come and meet staff and volunteers, kind of see behind the scenes, see what we're all about at Brooks Place.
If you're excited to get involved, just like we always are excited about anything Brooks Place, click on the I'm Interested button.
Help us help them.
One of the tools we use at Brooks Place to create those safe spaces is the I wonder question, which our facilitators will often use with kids in group. For example, a facilitator might say to a child, I wonder if you'd like to share a favorite memory about your loved one who died. So this morning, I'd like to wonder along with all of you for a brief moment. I wonder if you have ever thought about what it would like to be a facilitator at a support group night or a BP8 program. I wonder if you work for a company that encourages employees to volunteer their time and resources. I wonder if you know someone, a coworker, a family member, or an acquaintance that might need help from Brooks Place, that recently experienced the death of a loved one and needs a place where they can feel safe, supported, and understood. I wonder if you have ever said to yourself, I wish there had been a place like Brooks Place when my loved one died. I wonder if you're looking for an opportunity, as Nathan said, to help people. If the answer to any of those questions is yes, we want to learn more about you and match ways that you can open your heart to our Brooks Place kids. I encourage you to look at the Get Involved section of your pledge card and think about the ways that you want to learn more. For all that you do, or will do, or can do to help our Brooks Place families, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And now, I'd like to introduce to you someone with a really big heart, our Brooks Place Group Support Group Director, Tara Ntumba.
Well, once upon a time, a little over 20 years ago, a very beautiful soul lived among us, and her name was Pam Wright. Pam was a dedicated advocate for grieving young people, and her dedication led to this healing community that we all know as Brooks Place. But Pam was not alone in her passion for grieving youth. Pam Wright had a neighbor. Pam's neighbor, Jordan Ware, was a fisherman, as humble as they come. At the time, Jordan was a member of the Greenfield Bassmasters Fishing Club. And looking for special opportunities, as we always are, to support the families of Brooks Place, Pam thought, hey, I've got an idea. And it wasn't long before Pam approached Jordan, and together they dreamed up the Brooks Place fishing outing. It was really sweet to hear Nathan refer to that in the video. Little did Pam or Jordan know that this event would become a Brooks Place family favorite for many years to come. This year, our Brooks Place families enjoyed the 20th annual fishing outing at Washington Park East. This fun annual event not only started but has endured, greatly due to the personal passion, commitment, and the humble service of Pam's and our dear friend, Jordan Ware. Though the Bassmasters have disbanded as an official club in recent years, Jordan continued recruiting friends and volunteers, pursuing donations, and coordinating the special event with Washington Park East to ensure that no grieving family has to fish alone. At the fishing outing, families enjoy refreshments, kids get free fishing poles to take home, and Jordan and his friends, and I recognize several other of our dear friends that help at the fishing outing over here. They will often even teach a first timer how to cast a line. And my very favorite part, which anyone who comes to the outing knows, is that they will put the squirmy things on the hooks for you. I could share so many memories with Jordan from fishing outings. My very first work day with Brooks Place as a staff person was the Brooks Place fishing outing in 2014. Nathan was at that event with his grandfather, who has since died. And I vividly remember spending my first Brooks Place day with Nathan and his grandpa and Jordan and my friends at that outing. And so there's so many memories that I can go back to. But a favorite of mine will be just a few months ago at this past fishing outing in August, watching Jordan alongside one of the moms from our support group program with her 2 kids. And I know that their dad has recently died. The giggles and the joy on their faces when Jordan helped that little boy catch his first ever fish was priceless. Clicking their pictures and giggling and so excited, and giving it back to Jordan to take it off the hook was very sweet. But as with all things Brooks Place, the fishing outing is a safe space for grieving kids to find hope and healing, but also joy in the midst of the pain of grief. We are enduringly grateful to those who have supported Jordan and Brooks Place through this event over the past 20 years. Among them, I cannot fail to mention Mark McCrocklin, our very dear friend from Flannery Buchanan, Washington Park East, for graciously hosting this annual event. I proudly celebrate our friend today, Jordan Ware, for his deeply personal legacy of hope in supporting grieving families through the Brooks Place annual fishing outing. Jordan, would you please come join me on the stage? I know that he does not love this part. Jordan, for 20 years, you have invested your time, your treasure, and most certainly your talent to support the grieving families of Brooks Place. Every year at Brooks Place, we recognize a significant person or group that has been an integral thread in the fabric of Brooks Place, and we honor them with our annual Legacy of Hope Award. And it is my honor to present Jordan Ware with the 2021 Legacy of Hope Award. Thank you, Jordan, for being that integral thread. Let's step over here for Carol. Would you like to share something?
I don't know if I can or not.
Definitely need to move that.
That's what I get for being tall. Good morning. When Brooks Place for grieving children sorry, I can't do this.
Would you like me to read it? Jordan wanted to say that when Brooks Place told me I was receiving this award, I was blown away. I do not host the Kids Fishing Day for glory, praise, or awards. I do this to help them with their grief. And in turn, it helps me with mine since I lost my dad as a teenager. And there was not an organization like this to help me at that time. This idea came from a neighbor, Pam Wright, who started Brooks Place. I took the idea to my fishing club, and one of the members happened to be the mailman who delivered to Washington Park East Cemetery. He approached Mark, who graciously agreed to let the kids fish at the pond at the cemetery. The Brooks Place annual fishing outing was a go and has been a big part of my life for the past 20 years. This has changed my life as I listen to the kids tell their stories of the loved ones they have lost. I do not feel I can accept this award alone, for it takes a lot of family, friends, or other fishing club members to put this on. So this award goes to them as well, and I would like to thank them at this time. Would you like me to keep reading? Or would you like to
I'll
read?
try it.
Okay, you got it. You got it.
First off, I'd like to thank my wife, who has helped me every year for the last 20 years in putting this together. My family has also helped throughout the years with being volunteers of taking the kids fishing, baiting hooks, taking fish off hooks, and just listening to the kids' stories. Carol Braden, who was the first person from Brooks Place to come and get Brooks Place started with me. I think she's here somewhere. There she is. And for many years, she was there every August to help. And then she passed the fishing pole on to Tara, who has been there every year since. And I'd like to thank Mark from Washington Park East Cemetery for the use of the pond year after year, because without that, the kids wouldn't have a place to fish. He's also donated a canopy for the wind, rain, sun donuts and drinks. I'd like to recommend Brad Couvert, or thank Brad Couvert, CEO of JB Outfitters, for all the fishing rods, combos, and tackles that he's provided over the 20 years. When we have like 50 or more kids, that's a lot of equipment for them to take home and go fishing other times. All the volunteers that donated their time that helped me, Tim Cornelius and his Mount Vernon High School bass fishing team, members of the former Greenfield Bassmasters Club, members of the Bass and Gals women's fishing team. And I would also like to support or thank my family for the support and love they've given me over the 20 years. Thank you.
Well, I now have the pleasure of introducing another wonderful Brooks Place volunteer. She is a current facilitator in our ongoing support group program on Sea Night, but her history with Brooks Place goes back almost about 20 years. So please join me in welcoming Sally Ware.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Tara, for the introduction. I'm absolutely honored and excited to be standing in front of you all this morning, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little nervous. I guess anyone standing in front of this many people this early in the morning would probably be a little nervous too. So thank you for joining me. Also, to be honest, I'm feeling pretty vulnerable right now. My Brooks Place story began almost 20 years ago after my dad had died. And the death of my dad, my incredible family, and the presence of Brooks Place has been a constant since his death and has shaped me into the person I am today and the person I will continue to become. I have an overwhelming wave of emotion, as you can probably tell, when I think about sharing my story. But what better place to speak about grief and Brooks Place than with a room full of people who can maybe relate to my story or who understand grief and Brooks Place. And just the simple presence of all of you in this room right now is already bringing me a little bit of peace. Anyway, let me tell you about what brought my family to Brooks Place. My dad was an awesome man, and I know what you all are thinking. Everybody says that about their loved one who died, but my dad was really awesome. He was a jack of all trades, talented at anything he put his mind to. He was a musician, a man of God, and a loving husband, and an incredible father. It sounds like I'm gonna cry, but I'm doing okay. I'm just nervous. He was an avid adventurer and would take us on weekend hiking and backpacking trips, and he really taught us to live life to its fullest and to always appreciate God's creation. On October 2001, my dad went to his doctor for some back pain. What I remember of that time is he had fallen down the stairs a few times and he was having some pain in his back. The scans of his back, however, revealed a diagnosis we never thought possible. At that time, my dad was diagnosed with lung and bone cancer at the age of 42. My mom was 38. My sister was 16. My brother was 10, and I was 7. He went through chemotherapy treatment. He lost his hair, his voice. He lost weight, but he never lost his personality. And he died just 3 short months later on January 27th of 2002. I don't remember much leading up to his death. I was about EA big. But lucky for us, we got to knock out all of the important lasts before he died. Our last Thanksgiving was spent in our pajamas on the couch watching Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. On December 18th, 2001, my mom and dad got to celebrate their 19th wedding anniversary. Our last Christmas was spent with our floors covered in presents, and our refrigerator overflowing with meals provided by friends and family. And we watched the ball drop on New Year's with his hospital bed in our dining room. The morning he died, I was with my grandma, and we had gotten home from church. She had said that we needed to go see my dad, which wasn't out of the ordinary. He was in hospice at the time, so we saw him very frequently. So I was pretty used to going to see him. When we got to hospice, and I saw my brother walking in with my aunt, and I don't think he knows this, but I turned to my grandma and I was like, "Hey, Luke is here." I was so excited because during that time, I believe us kids were separated to give my mom the opportunity to spend as much time as possible with dad. But I saw my brother. I was super excited that he was there. But I also remember the tone of my grandma's voice when she was just like, "Yeah, Luke's here." I was like, "Oh, she didn't seem as excited as I was." But anyway, I walked in to the room. It was full of people. And there my dad was. He had passed. He'd gone to be with God that Sunday morning. My mom was sitting next to his bed, and I went to sit on her lap, and she told me that I looked beautiful, which I was very excited about because I was wearing my favorite church outfit. I also don't remember much from being in that room. I remember that moment. And there's one thing I do remember, and it is one of, the many things that motivated me to become a Brooks Place facilitator. My mom told me to give my dad one last hug and kiss goodbye. And most people think, oh, what a special memory to have, special thing to remember. But I remember the sheer hesitation I felt to hug and kiss him. And it wasn't because I didn't want him to leave, but I was afraid because I didn't want to get sick and die like my dad did. And that memory still just hits me like a ton of bricks. Because when you are that young, you don't have the mental capacity to wrap your brain around what cancer is or what death is, and you really can't grasp onto that profoundness or even how that's going to impact you moving on. So after his death, my mom heard about Brooks Place from someone at church, and my sister was actually given a folder from one of her counselors at school with some information. We went with our interview with Carol Braden, and she's the most welcoming and kind person I had ever met. We were put on the wait list, and we eventually joined in the spring of 2002. I don't have many solid memories. I was only 7 or 8 years old when we were finally going to Brooks Place. So I don't really remember much about my time there, but I do remember how it made me feel. The fact that I could go to this place, eat yummy pizza, spend time with other kids who had experienced the death of a loved one was absolutely life-changing. I felt safe and I felt normal again at Brooks Place. I could scream and rip phone books in the volcano room with, back then, phone books were like that thick, and I think now they're like that thick. So I had a lot to rip then. I could also sit quietly and draw without any interruption in the expression room. It was a place that I looked forward to going to every single week. It was a Brooks Place week. After a couple years, my family closed at Brooks Place. We started to move on. Time had passed, life continued, but the grief of losing my dad grew heavier and heavier each year. And as I got older, I finally began to understand what death really meant, how it was going to affect me. He wasn't going to be there to teach me to drive a car or to, watch me in my graduations or to be there for my wedding. And those thoughts just continued to grow and cycle and weigh really heavy on my heart. When I was about 16, I was struggling a lot with normal teenager things, as you all can probably relate. It was a time of change. I was feeling very lost. So I talked to my mom, and we decided to reach out to Carol again to see if I could return to Brooks Place. And of course, she welcomed me back with open arms. My facilitators, Kristen and Lisa, which you actually met Lisa earlier this morning, were exactly who I needed at that time in my life. It was the exact same feeling that I had felt when I was at Brooks Place 10 years earlier. And I felt safe and I felt seen. And a couple years later, once graduation of high school rolled around, I eventually closed. And to be honest, it was extremely difficult to walk away at that time. Brooks Place had been my security blanket. Last year, during the shutdown, I was temporarily furloughed from my job and staying with my mom, and I spent a lot of time reflecting on the things in my life that were giving me purpose. There was a lot of self-reflection, there was a lot of journaling, praying, and ultimately I was just longing for a way to feel closer to my dad. One thing that always crept in the back of my mind was becoming a facilitator at Brooks Place. My sister and my brother-in-law had both been facilitators a couple years prior, and it's always been back there. So I got on their website, found information about becoming a facilitator, started the process, went through their incredible training in January I have a background in going to Brooks Place, but no background in helping kids grieve or knowing how to talk to kids who are grieving. I eventually began facilitating this past March in 2021. And before I even began training, I knew I wanted to be a facilitator for the same age group that I was in when I was originally at Brooks Place, the 6 to 9-year-olds. I wanted to help create their safe space for them, a space where they felt normal and the same things that I felt when I was 8 years old attending Brooks Place. There's just something so healing about this role. I am honored to be a small part of their safe space. I get to listen to them. I get to draw with them. We do cartwheels together, and I just get to be present with them in their grief. And something that every child needs, but especially those who are grieving a death that they don't quite understand. Brooks Place gives individuals the opportunity to truly connect with others in a space that is safe and welcoming, a space where silence speaks louder than words, and a space where no matter who you are and what your story is, you are exactly where you should be. And that is a beautiful thing. So thank you all for being present today, giving me the space to share my grief story.
Hi, my name is Kate, and I volunteer and donate to Brooks Place because I know the impact that my therapist had on me through my own grief journey, and I was fortunate enough to be able to afford that help. And I know that there are so many children in Central Indiana that need help and support through their own grief journey, and giving and volunteering will do that right here at Brooks Place. And I know that you can have the impact that we've been able to provide by supporting these most vulnerable children. You don't realize the power of connecting with somebody until you have experienced it.
Kate's words are so true. There is power in connection. This morning, I invite all of you sitting here in person and all of you watching from home to consider what connection to Brooks Place might be meaningful to you. Now is the time for you to find your pledge card that you set aside earlier. And for those of you who are at home, it is in your purple envelope. If you would like to join me in becoming a facilitator and experience firsthand the joy of helping grieving children feel seen and feel heard, check the box in the Get Involved section. We will also have more information at the table out in the lobby as you leave this morning. At Brooks Place, we value everyone's time as much as we do their wallet. So equally as important as our volunteers that help run our programs, we also need financial support in order to provide critical support for grieving children, teens, young adults, and their families. This morning, we have a special opportunity because of loyal Brooks Place donors who have connected with one another to create a matching gift campaign. Every dollar raised this morning will be matched up to $81,682. You might be wondering what $81,682 can do at Brooks Place. It could open up a new ongoing support group program site. It could provide 337 individuals with therapy services. It could provide 81 grieving children a year of support they need. Now imagine if we match every single dollar of that $81,682. That's 2 new programmer nights, 674 individuals, too big of a number for me to put on my hand, 674 individuals receiving therapy, and 162 individuals receiving a year of grief support. I invite you to consider a financial gift to make these numbers possible, to make Brooks Place a reality for other kids like my 8 and 16-year-old self who so needed to connect with other grieving kids. We have a few ways for you to give today. The first is to take out your phone and text LOH21 to 202-858-1233. And this is also currently being shown on the screen. You can also fill out your pledge card to give a one-time gift, or you can become a monthly donor. Thank you truly for being here this morning. Thank you for listening to my story, and thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting Brooks Place. My life would definitely not be the same without this organization. And each time I facilitate, I am reminded of how special Brooks Place is to those who are struggling with the weight of grief. Thank you.
Thank you to each and every one of you. Brooks Place is truly grateful for everything you do.
Brooks Place is an amazing place. The facilitators and the families bring so much to the group, and we, as Brooks Place family, want to just say thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for caring and sharing.
Thank you so much.
To every facilitator, every buddy, every donor, every volunteer, every board member, every fundraiser, every community partner, to every person who has lent a helping hand.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your support. Thank you.
To the amazing donors who continue to make sure that Brooks Place serves grieving families now and in the future.
To the founders who saw a vision, a need, a necessity, and those who followed in their footsteps to further our vision and our impact.
Thank you for donating cakes, books, and art supplies, for decorating rooms, for providing pizza, and for every moment of your precious time and talent.
Thank you. We love Brooks Place. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for turning frowns into smiles and for teaching grieving children and families that it's okay to live.
We love Brooks Place.
It all matters to Brooks Place and to children who are grieving.
Thank you.
Thank you again to Sally for demonstrating for all of us today that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's healing to share one's story, and that it's okay to grieve. As we conclude this morning, we'd like to take one more opportunity to thank our sponsors, 502 East Event Center and Sterling Productions, for making this program possible. And I'd like to thank each and every one of you for sitting with us here today in person and at home. You are now part of the impact Brooks Place has on so many lives. I hope you enjoyed today. I hope we see more of you again in the future. And we hope you have a great rest of your day and a wonderful holiday season. Thanks for being here.